I'm in the wrong line of work? Guess you're right. I was working as a restaurant manager at a very seasonal place. It does over 50% of yearly revenue in a 15-week period. I was also the only manager on payroll, but the place ran just fine without me for a day or two. I mostly counted money and placated angry tourists. MC is this, I asked my boss for a day off, even if I could switch which day of the week I had off, to attend a family party. He said no, and when I pressed him again, he launched into a tirade about the busy season. You shouldn't expect a single day off. You knew the job was demanding for these 15 weeks, and the kicker on top, if you expect a day off, you're in the wrong line of work. So, I trundled through that season, then the long slow season, during which my salary stays the same and they paid me to do very little. 2 weeks before busy season, I hand in my resignation. I said this year I expect a day off. Side note, my replacement ran that place into the ground. Serves them right. What's even more satisfying than quitting on the spot? The long game. Well played. I'm a business management student, and a big reason I follow this sub is evident here. One single sentence can have such disastrous effects on an employee. Edit, grammar. So what would they do if someone got sick or injured? If they can't handle one day off, the place is not right. I had a similar experience in a different line of work. I was a painter for 3 years before getting a job at a cabinet factory. I was on the line spraying stain on cabinet doors, and I did really well considering I had experience spraying paint. The technique was very similar. People complimented my work. The wood was labeled so I would know exactly what color to spray, but somewhere there was a mistake and I ended up putting the wrong stain on an incorrectly labeled piece of wood. Department lead, we never put that kind of stain on that kind of wood. What were you thinking? Me, it's my first week. I don't know what kind of wood this is. I'm just going by the way it's labeled. Department lead, if you can't tell what kind of wood this is, then maybe you're in the wrong place. Me, okay, bye.
I quit my last job after being denied a vacation day. This was also not the first time being denied. After years of usually not taking all of my vacation during a given year. And it was the only vacation day during the year that I considered holy, so it was a big deal to me. My immediate supervisor knew this and had my back but couldn't convince the owner to give it to me. My supervisor and another colleague offered to go to the job site in my place, but no. For some reason I had to be the person to go. Despite not having any previous involvement with the project. I started cleaning up my office the day I was denied the request. I'm a slob. And was gone about a month later. My supervisor knew it was coming too. He told me he figured I was leaving when my office got clean. The good news is I got a much better job with better benefits and make a lot more money.
And this job, every time I ask for vacation time, my boss says, "Why are you asking me? I'm not going to tell you no." It's almost a shame you gave them 2 weeks. I would have been tempted to quit the first busy day. You probably made the right call for your coworkers though.
Not one day off in 15 weeks? Has your ex-employer been taking notes from A Christmas Carol? In many countries, this is illegal.
Perfect r/I quit. If the place is running smoothly, that means the manager has done the job right, especially if it looks like they aren't running around like crazy.
I teach management courses at the college undergraduate level. Your story illustrates perfectly why managers need to work with employees regarding time off requests, especially now that good people are so hard to find. A person like you is not expendable. And you proved it.
Revenge is a dish best served 2 weeks before the busy season.
This reminds me of my time working at a burger joint. I had a job lined up after the summer in my own field of IT. During the summer, The powers that be decided to fire the friendly cleaner guy cause of course the restaurant wait. Staff could do the same job. I personally was pissed. The cleaner guy was the nicest dude and was working his ass off to support his family, and B, I don't want to clean up the customer bathroom mess for 2 hours after closing, and C, I couldn't work as a TA with the new hours. I had made a lot of friends there but had to quit pretty much after my first poo shift. On one of my last shifts there, a manager I had met twice before took me aside and started laying it on me. You'll never work a single job successfully in your entire life. You're a worthless piece of shit and you'll never get another job like this again. You're ungrateful for the opportunity this fast food restaurant has offered you. You'll come crawling back and we won't take you back. And so on and so forth for what felt like half an hour to me. All I had to say at the end of it was, okay. And a month and a half later I was working in my own field very happily. 6 months after that I was the lead Android developer at the company I joined. I felt pretty good about that.
It sounds like you got your revenge by having 37 weeks of getting paid to do very little. I'm sure your boss could have been more understanding, but
I was also a restaurant manager in a very seasonal restaurant. Unfortunately, in March, April 2020 I got COVID. I'm sure due to the fact that we weren't allowed to wear masks at this point. I was running 2 locations at this time and I got pulled out of work for 2 weeks. After I got back, my immediate supervisor and the franchise owner treated me completely differently. They also did not allow me to refuse service to people not wearing a mask or allow me to implement capacity requirements from Department of Health. By the end of July 2020, things were a shit show. We were expected to run with less than half the amount of staff we had had just 3 summers prior. When I started, despite needing to sanitize everything constantly, all of my good staff had quit except one guy who held another job that was winter seasonal and who usually rode in with me. In other words, the job made sense for him and would be hard for him to replace. When he just didn't show up one day, I knew it was just about time to go. Then my boss came in and started in on me. 3 hours later she was still there. Literally the longest she'd ever spent in my restaurant. And I told her I didn't feel like doing this anymore. She started trying to backtrack and play it off like, I know you're capable of more, and I was like, you know, I'm really not. And I slowly gathered up my stuff. There was a lot of it around the restaurant. And then I walked out. That restaurant hasn't had any manager stay longer than a few months since. I think I'm the only manager that's ever stayed in that location longer than a year. Open since like 2005. To be fair, I had told her I was going back to school. If she was smart she'd have already had someone hired or at least someone in mind. But I guess not. Worst franchise I ever worked for, and in the restaurant industry that's saying a lot. I'm guessing the boss had plenty of days off. Good on you for standing up for yourself. What? No chance of a single day off for 15 weeks straight? He expected 105 busy days work in a row? Seems like that should be explained up front and some kind of heavy financial compensation built in. Had a boss like this. Ran a dog kennel. Open all year long except for 2 weeks in January when he went somewhere in the tropics. Fine. You do you. However, he only hired teens to work the place, and guess when the majority of their time off from school is? The summer. Which is also busy for the kennel. I'd work every holiday, including coming in Christmas and Christmas Eve to feed and exercise the dogs and do the kennel cleaning. He didn't want us taking time off during holidays either because the kennel was full to capacity. Asked off for time in the summer to visit my grandparents in Florida and he got all huffy with us. and saying the summer is busy. We shouldn't be asking for time off during busy season, and that we should take our vacations when the kennel is closed, in January, when we have school. He eventually approved the time, then flipped shit when I asked for one Saturday off the following month to go to a family event, saying I already had my vacation approved for that summer, which was going to unpaid BTW. I gave him my notice, saying I was going to be gone for nearly 2 weeks anyway, so consider that time my notice period. He threatened me saying I wouldn't get my summer bonus if I quit. A whole $100. It wasn't until much later that realized that he never paid me overtime or holiday pay, which was required by our state, and I was working regularly over 40-hour weeks during the summer and other holidays. What an ass. What did your replacement do? I'm curious.
Thumbs up.
Nicely done. Were you a very patient person? Or did it just so happen that the timing worked out? I mean, did you intentionally waited it out and intentionally leave at the time you did? Or were there other factors as well? Either way makes for a saucy MC. My new name, Saucy MC. Also, gonna pair up with DJ Eat Your Vegetables on the ones and 2s.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.